Hi, welcome to Forge TV News Bite. I'm Mr. Estrop. A newly divorced father lured his two sons into his attic using 600-pound train set and fun-sized bags of chocolate before setting fire to the house, killing the three of them, an inquest was told. Darren Sykes, 44, had barricaded doors in the house using dining room chairs. This was done in a way to prevent anyone getting out rather than anyone getting in, said Coroner Christopher Doris. On the 22nd of October, Jack Sykes, 12, and Paul Sykes, 9, visited their dad as usual as part of an agreed contact order. 15 minutes after arriving, their dad lit 14 poles of patrol that split throughout the house. Paul was treated by paramedics at the scene but failed to regain consciousness. Jack, a pupil at Pennystone Grammar School, was taken to Sheffield Children's Hospital. He was conscious on arrival, although he had 50% burns to his body. It was there he told the doctor, "My dad did it on purpose." He suffered cardiac arrest 5 days later and failed to regain consciousness. It is thought Darren Sykes planned the attack because he believed he would lose all but 1 hour a week's contact with his children, Paul, 9, and Jack, 12. Paul Sykes had complained to teachers at his school, Springville Primary, that he wanted to see less of his dad because he could be somewhat abusive. This included an incident where his dad grabbed him by the throat on a skiing holiday, the inquest was told. He had told family court workers that he wanted a relationship with his dad but wanted to see less of him. Mother of the boys, Claire Trossel, said she had reservations about letting the boys go but felt pressured to comply with the court order for contact. She said she could not rid herself of guilt for not stopping the boys going to their dads that evening. Coroner Christopher Doris recorded a verdict of unlawful killing for the boys and suicide for their father. Detective Sergeant Stuart Hall of Barnsley CID read to the inquest a timeline of Darren's movements on the 22nd of October.
10:48 a.m. Darren spends £600 on model railway tracking and carriages at home Firth Mill. At 11:07 a.m, Darren Sykes sends a text message to both his sons saying,
"Just got some carriages that light up."
11:33 a.m, Mr Sykes arrives at Bridgend Services in Pennystone, where he purchases 2 petrol cans and some unleaded fuel. His vehicle was a diesel car. At 3:42 p.m, Darren sends text messages to Jack, saying,
"I just need 2 engine drivers."
At 4:14 p.m, Mr Sykes receives a call on his landline from his boss, Andre Spencer. Mr Spencer describes Mr Sykes as particularly down. "See you tomorrow."
"No. If anything happens, would you take care of my boys?"
5 p.m. Darren leaves the rear garden carrying some envelopes. It is believed these were suicide letters sent to friends and family members. Police are not sure of the exact time, but on the same day, Darren posts a letter to HSBC saying,
"I, Darren Sykes, state that I won't be paying for the mortgage, and the reason for this is that I will no longer be alive."
5:02 p.m. Darren drives his van away from the house and parks it around the corner. 6:13 p.m. Darren's vehicle returns and him and the boys get out and go inside. The boys go into the attic where the train set runs around the room. Between 6:14 and 6:28 p.m, Darren spills 16 pools of petrol throughout different rooms in the house. He locks the front door and barricades it with chairs. He barricades the door at the bottom of the stairs with a kitchen chair to prevent anyone getting out. 6:29 p.m, Darren sends a text message to a group of 6 friends saying,
"Well, God gave us his only son for peace. I've now found peace,"
with a picture of an angel attached. 6:30 p.m. The first fire is lit downstairs, 15 minutes after the family's arrival. At 6:31 p.m, the first 999 call is made by neighbours. At 6:36 p.m, the first fire crew arrives. At 6:46 p.m, the second fire crew arrives. After this, Jack is found on the first floor, near the ladder leading to the loft. Paul is found in the attic. Darren is found further into the loft area.
The women's officer candidate has pulled out of the running 4 days later after the names of the SU officer candidates were publicly released. Jenny Poulton was one of only 2 candidates competing for the role. On Tuesday, the 2nd of March, Ms. Poulton posted a Facebook status suggesting the university pulled her out due to her mental health issues. Okay, I've been pulled out of the election. I'm not 100% sure this is my decision, but it's happened and I'm no longer in the running. My mental health has been appalling, and this way at least I'll be safe. Shamin Jahan, now the only candidate for the role, will face voters choosing to reopen nominations in the polls. Voting opens on March 5th. On Wednesday the 4th of March, Nick Clegg's Sheffield Hallam constituency office was occupied by student activists. Around a dozen Free University of Sheffield activists entered the offices, which they plan to turn into a learning space in which to hold seminars. In the lead-up to the general election, protesters hope to draw attention to their belief that Nick Clegg has, following the 2010 rise in tuition fees, betrayed and lied to students. They were there for 10 minutes before being ordered to leave by the building staff. The protesters continued campaigning outside, waving banners, and several of them wearing masks showing Nick Clegg's face. South Yorkshire police officers arrived at the scene a short while later. Protester Josh Berline said police were confrontational on arrival. He alleges that a police officer kicked one of the protesters. South Yorkshire police have not responded to this allegation. The Liberal Democrats and South Yorkshire police agreed that activists protested peacefully. The Free University of Sheffield group viewed the protest as successful in drawing attention to their cause, as the occupation was reported in a number of national publications.
Bonfire, build a bonfire, put the toys on the top, put the lanterns in